Hey everybody, in this video I'll be discussing the new moon in Pisces on February the 27th, 2025. A new moon in Pisces is drawing our attention to more spiritual matters, creative matters, compassion, empathy. But this new moon is going to be impacted by expansive Saturn and aligning with Sirius contracting Saturn. So there's going to be a lot of optimism. Jupiter, that new moon can be in Pisces, can be very idealistic, but with the Jupiter, one could go overinflate, overinspect, overindulge. At the same time, the new moon in Pisces is aligning with structured Saturn in Pisces. So the Saturn is about contraction. The Jupiter is about expansion. So there's going to certainly be this new moon, a push-pull dynamics between optimism and over expectations. There is the risk of overstretching, exaggerating, and being too scattered with the Jupiter. But the Saturn is fortunately calming us down, centering us so we can focus. That Saturn is at 20 degrees of Pisces. And Mars, assertive, action-oriented Mars, is at 17 degrees of Cancer. So the Mars is approaching a trine, the best flow of energy, to Saturn. And the Mars is also forming what we call a sextile. That's a 60-degree angle of positive opportunities to Uranus. So here's this ambitious, assertive, action-oriented Mars on this new moon is in harmony with structured, disciplined Saturn, but also favorable with innovative, progressive Uranus. The Saturn can help us be structured, disciplined, focused, cautious, but with the Uranus progressive, with the Mars taking action. Now, we also have Venus is slowing down because it's going to retrograde on March the 1st. So as the Venus, pleasure-seeking, creative, harmonious, romantic Venus is almost coming to a standstill, and then especially on the 28th, then by March the 1st, it's slowly starting to move backwards. So the energy, even though Venus is a great benefic energy, that as it's slowing down and changing directions, it's also going to be compelling a lot of reevaluating relationships or any of your creative projects. It certainly will test relationships. But this Venus, which is going to be so strong because it's almost at a standstill, is also going to be in a sextile to Jupiter. Sextile, 60 degrees, positive opportunities. So with the Venus, with the Jupiter, now we have the new moon pushing up against the Jupiter, which can be this push-pull between hopefulness and over-exaggeration. But the Venus, pleasure-seeking, romantic Venus, in harmony with Jupiter, can also help soften everything, bring more warmth, charm, opportunities for relationships, creativity, and finances, because Venus is also a planet that deals with money and material goods. And I'm also going to be discussing decision-making, communication. Mercury is going to be conjuncting Neptune. Now, Neptune and they're both in Pisces, and Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. So there's this major emphasis that's triggering that new moon in Pisces of all this imagination and creativity, but it can also blur logic. It could be tremendously imaginative, but then not that realistic. But there's such positive energies here that I'll break down in more detail, that I do think the imagination and the hopefulness is winning out and helping us feel more hopeful. Now, before I start breaking this down into more detail, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. Now, let's go back to, so we got the new moon in Pisces, which is putting a major emphasis on sensitivity and feelings and emotions. But remember that Pisces energy, you could be wearing your heart on your sleeve, and you could also be prone to getting your feelings hurt, but you want to turn it around to be more compassionate towards others, being more of service, charitable to others, and not get into your own emotional reactions. And of course, with the square to Jupiter, Jupiter in Gemini is triggering a lot of information seeking, curiosity, learning, but it's overdoing. So you could be overstretching, overly exaggerating, and you might be just too scattered. But it's also, but here's the good news, the new moon, as it squares Jupiter, too much of a good thing, it is also aligning with Saturn. Focus, discipline, cautious Saturn. So with that Pisces new moon, there can be this visionary energy, this idealistic energy, this highly imaginative and creative energy. You could be feeling really optimistic about moving forwards with it, with the Jupiter, but the Saturn helping you stay grounded and stabilized. And of course, that Saturn that is impacting the new moon to help us be more disciplined and focused. It is also, the Saturn is in harmony with the Mars and the Uranus. So, as I mentioned before, Mars is all this taking action, but it's in harmony with Saturn. So Mars-Saturn can give you the discipline and the concentration to pursue your goals. But because the Mars and the Saturn are both forming a sextile, positive opportunities to Uranus, Uranus is innovation, it's progress, it's thinking out of the box, but being able to manifest this new vision. The Venus-Jupiter is going to also be very harmonious for relationships, but it can be very favorable with all this innovation for making more money. Now, Mercury, decision-making Mercury, is in Pisces, aligning with dreamy, romantic, empathetic Neptune. And in the sign of Pisces, Pisces is influenced by Neptune. So this, with everything else going on, the Mercury-Neptune, if you stay grounded and focused, and there's a lot of support for most of you to fall into that more easily, this conjunction of communication Mercury with visionary Neptune can really enhance the imagination, the intuition, and creativity. But it can also blur, that's that Neptunian Pisces energies, logic. Communications may be more poetic, more mystical, but could also be confused and deceptive. There is a heightened ability to tap into dreams, artistic vision, and spiritual insights, but also a risk of misunderstandings or idealizing reality. Be cautious of misinformation and trust your instincts over surface level words. But there is much more positive support to be moving forwards. The Saturn, the Mars to the Saturn, the new moon to the Saturn will help keep the concentration, will help keep us pragmatic and logical and grounded, but not overly serious with that Mercury to Neptune being more the intuitive, compassionate, visionary. Mercury with romantic, dreamy Neptune and romantic Venus in harmony with optimistic Jupiter. This can also really support a very sociable time, a very romantic time, could be very favorable for going on a vacation, attaining entertainment venues. You could be overindulging and spending too much money, but I doubt it, because most of you with the Saturn and the Mars excellent with Saturn, it's going to keep you very disciplined and focused. So what I've been discussing is the overall trends for those 4 weeks, from new moon to new moon. But to help zero it in on the individual, because that's what most of you are tuning in for anyhow. So this is a good month from February 27th in through the end of March. There is certainly a lot of potential progress to be made, money to be made, romance to be awakened or reawakened. But let's look at how is this impacting each of the 12 signs. Well, for Pisces or Pisces rising, the new moon being in your sign, that's the first house sector. So it's putting a major emphasis on visibility, new beginnings, more confidence, you might be more focused on your appearance and looking good. For Aries and Aries rising, it's in the shadow sector or the last house, which is actually the natural house of Pisces. And so there's 2 ways this can go, and it's your choice, Aries or Aries rising. You can retreat and introspection, doing a lot of studying, a lot of soul searching, or you could feel kind of stuck and lost. And Aries can be impatient, so you could be making yourself nuts, spinning your wheels. But this could be very favorable if you're on a more reflective, spiritual, introspective path. Taurus and Taurus rising, Pisces is 11 signs past Taurus. So there's going to be a major emphasis on 11th, friendships, group activities, networking. But the 11th house also has a lot to do with our long-range plans and aspirations. So there could be a major focus on friendships and networking, but also starting to really look at the long-range plans. Gemini rising, Pisces is 10 signs past Gemini. The 10th sector is career, it's business, it's taking charge, it's initiating new venture. It can put you get much more recognition, more professional acknowledgement. So there's a major focus on your career and business. Cancer, it's in the 9th. Well, the 9th can represent higher education, getting more professional training, publishing, marketing. It's like learning about new ideas, spreading ideas out to the world, which could also include making plans to go on a trip, especially with a long distance trip. Leo, the Pisces is falling in your 8th house. 2 areas with the 8th house. It deals with finance, your financial obligations, taxes, insurance. So there could certainly be but there's a lot of positive energy here, but you could be very much focused on your financial responsibilities. And or the 8th house can have a lot to do with personal transformation. So you'd be much more interested in psychology, maybe counseling, certainly an astrology reading. Virgo, Pisces is opposite Virgo. The opposite deals with the other. So there could be a major emphasis on your partner, professionally, romantically, contract negotiations, getting offers, expanding your client base. For Libra, it's in the 6th house. The 6th house, 2 major areas. Your day-to-day work routine, getting new jobs, learning new job skills. But it can also be focusing on improving your health. Really focusing on a better diet, exercise, lots of self-improvement focus. Scorpio, Pisces is a water sign, favorable with Scorpio, a water sign, and the Pisces is falling in your 5th sector from Scorpio. The 5th is children, romance, creativity. You could be giving birth to a child or giving birth to a creative new project. But it's a very pleasurable area of the chart. It could be stimulating you, compelling you to bring your inner child out, to go play sports, go on a vacation, go to parties. Sagittarius, it's falling in your 4th house of home, family, and real estate. So through March, there might be a family event, a family reunion, but you may also be focused on your home, remodeling, moving, a lot of matters around property and family. And Capricorn, Pisces is 3 signs past Capricorn. So there's going to focus, 3rd house is communications and learning and selling, and it deals with more short distance traveling. It's a very mental, stimulating area of the chart. Lots of new learning and teaching and writing, taking classes. And lastly, Aquarius, or Aquarius rising. Pisces is the 2nd sign past Aquarius. The 2nd sector is where we look to for cash flow, for income. And so there's a lot of positive energy, as I discussed overall, but with the Saturn, you're being very disciplined and very focused, but with the Uranus, and with the Mars, you're taking risks. So overall, with more calculated risks and patience and endurance, this is for everybody, but especially for Aquarians and Aquarius rising, where the major focus and attention is on your money matters, more than likely how to increase your income. I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at cardino.co. That's .co. Until next time, be safe and well.